Hey, Mark, welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here.
I am stoked to be here.
Why don't we start off, just tell us a little bit about you and how you got started doing what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a postural neurologist by trade. I have 2 doctorates and a couple dozen certifications. So I started in a brick and mortar clinic and decided I wanted to help more people, but I didn't want to open more clinics. So I started an online business thinking, couldn't be that hard, right? And I found out, yeah, it can be quite difficult. And I struggled for a long time until I heard one of my good friends, Pat Flynn, on the Smart Passive Income talk about this idea of a virtual summit. And I kind of thought to myself, well, I've tried everything else. This is kind of my last go at it. Let's give it a whirl. What else can I lose at this point? So I tried to do a virtual summit, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that later. But essentially, I could only get about 9 speakers on it. And 2 were me and my partner, so about 7. So instead of just wrapping it up and calling it quits and telling all the speakers that I couldn't do it, I decided to just host it in a single day instead of over the course of several days. And that summit did pretty well. It brought in about 5,000 leads and made around $32,000,
Pretty
which was
well.
my
Yeah.
first big win, right? Like that was
Yeah.
my first big win. So I was really excited about that. But that summit then went on to become the backbone of our first certification in that online business, which became a multi-million dollar certification. And then that company went on to become a multi-million dollar company, which is still there today. But from there, in that company and in all of my companies, we run anywhere from 2 to 4 multi-day summits and 4 to 8 one-day summits in all of the companies. And I ended up building a software to allow us to run those summits called the Virtual Summit software. And so now I hang out most of the time traveling around the world talking to people who have a message and an impact that they want to make in the world, helping them get that out to the world via a collaborative marketing strategy.
Cool. So when did all this start? When did you start the online business? When was your first summit? I want to know like a little bit timeline.
Yeah, so it's been almost 6 years now when I started the online business. Maybe 7 years if you start at the idea stage of it. And then about 6 or 7 months into the online business is when we did the summit. And then at the 18-month mark is when we hit our first million in the company. And then from there, it kind of went up from there.
That's awesome. So tell us about the different kind of summits. You mentioned 1 day, 2 to
Yeah.
4 a day. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So just to clarify, because I know I was like, what is a virtual summit? Like, is that like a
Yeah.
webinar or is it a conference? So I totally understand it can be a new kind of concept to some people. So technically what a virtual summit is, it's like an online conference or an online seminar, but it's more geared towards the marketing or building an audience. So I call it a collaborative marketing strategy. So essentially what it is you take a problem or a topic that you want to solve and you solve that problem by bringing on industry and niche experts to talk on solutions to that problem. They're typically pre-recorded interviews or presentations, and then they're released over a set period of time, kind of like a conference would be. And so that is technically what a virtual summit is. Now, the power of a virtual summit is you're essentially able to generate a engaged and qualified audience over this topic by using what we're saying collaborating with these other experts, these other niche or industry experts that you have on your summit. The different types of summits. There's several different types. There's a multi-day summit, which is anywhere from about 3 days onwards up to about 14, with like 5 or 6 being the most common. And they can have anywhere from about 20 speakers upwards to like some have had 80 speakers on them.
Wow.
Normally, 25 to 30 is the most common. Now, as that sounds, it's a pretty massive event, pretty massive undertaking, but it is extremely powerful, extremely impactful for getting your message out to a large amount of people and really creating a lot of attention and awareness around whatever that message is you're trying to get out, as well as for building an audience. So it's really powerful for that. Now, a one-day summit is just like it says, it's 1 day, but it doesn't mean it's a full day in content. It just means your audience has 1 day to consume the content. So much more consumable, much more manageable. And it has anywhere from about 5 speakers upwards of maybe 15, with 10 usually being the sweet spot. So, in the power of that is it's much more versatile and kind of nimble, if you will. So I like to say if a multi-day summit is like bringing the army, the 1 day summit's like the ninja, right? It's like a ninja assassin over here. And what's really cool with that is we can use it for a lot of different reasons. We can use it for just getting the message out, building awareness, kind of building the audience or the list. But we can also use it in different formats, such as if you already have an audience, you can use it to monetize that audience. If you have a membership that you're trying to launch or a product you're trying to launch, we can use that to then increase the success or conversions of that. If you have a live event, a mastermind, a book launch, etc. Essentially, so we can use a one-day summit for a lot of different reasons, to increase the success of essentially whatever campaign or promotion you have at the end. Now, there's a live streaming summit, which are not as common. It's essentially, we see those a lot in like a product launch environment. And then we have hybrid summits, which are pretty much pre-recorded with bits of live streaming through in them. Those are pretty popular as well. So that's kind of what a summit is overall, and the different types of summits. And really the huge benefits you get out of doing any of those is, again, you generate an audience or a list. Again, with a one-day summit, it's a very engaged or qualified list because of how specific we can get on the topic. But other reasons, other benefits is you really establish yourself as the authority or expert in whichever niche or industry you're in, because you're being seen with all these other experts, right? So, and it's your platform, it's your summit, you're the host of it. And then, of course, strategic partnerships is a really, really great way to make collaborations, ongoing things with some of these other influencers. And then, of course, it's really beneficial for conversions on the back end and generating profits and income.
Can you share the story of how you dominated that affiliate launch? And I think that will give people an idea of how to use a summit to kind of get people excited for the next thing that you're offering.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great idea there. So again, a multi-day summit, you've got 20, 30 people all promoting this summit, which is probably over a variety of topics, of problems that are being solved in presentations. Now, the one-day summit, as I said, it's much more tactical. So instead of a bunch of problems or a bunch of topics, we pick one specific problem that we're going to solve, and we build the one-day summit around that. So with that being having one problem, we then identify what are a few solutions that we're going to need, that the audience will need to solve this problem. That lets me know what are my sessions going to be. And that also tells me, well, who are the speakers that I want to speak on this session? Again, this is all virtual. So you're doing this all like via Zoom or something like that. Or, I've worked with in the healthcare profession, and even in some real estate and insurance agencies where they've actually used this for their brick and mortar business to bring patients and clients in. Now, specifically on this topic, what we did is a friend of mine was doing a product launch, like a big, he had a program that he's selling online, and he was asking for people to help support it. And it was kind of in a niche or industry that, wasn't my niche. So I didn't have a list that was specifically for that. So I essentially said, sorry, I can't help you there. But being my buddy, put a little pressure on me and said, no, Mark, you're going to help me here. So I said, okay, moving forward, there was 150 affiliates, 150 of some of the world's top online marketers there. And when I saw that list of people, I thought, oh my God, like I'm going to look like such a dud in front of all of these people who I really admire and look up to. So I got all stressed out about it. And so I'm like, okay, stop. Just think for a second, Mark, what can you do? Go back to the basics. We're going to do a summit. So one-day summit specifically. So I went to my buddy Pete. I said, Pete, what's the problem that your solution, the thing you're selling that we're all trying to drive traffic to, what's the problem that solves? And he said, well, this specific program helps them get on stages, public speaking, get on stages. I said, awesome. Okay. So then I went back and I just said, I'm going to create a problem about becoming a speaker. And so I created a one-day summit called the Expert Speaker Workshop. And it was about how to become a speaker. And so I brought on, that one had 12 different speaking authors, coaches, trainers, and associations all speaking on that. And we together, collaborative marketing strategy, we promoted that all out to our communities, and it generated around 3,000 leads, which is not a ton, but they were qualified and engaged. So now these 3,000 people, they know how to be a speaker. What's the next thing they need? Well, how do I get on stages? So then I took this list of 3,000 people, I nurtured them for a week or two, and then I pointed them to my buddy's promotion. And they bought. Essentially, they ended up doing really well. I ended up taking fifth place out of 150 affiliates with a list of just under 3,000 people and an ad spend of about 2,000. And I was going against some of these guys and gals that had lists of hundreds of thousands and spent tens of thousands of dollars on ads. So that was a pretty cool win and a really cool success story there.
I think that's really powerful to show you how you can get really qualified, engaged people before you do any kind of promotion. So I think that just shows you the power of what you're doing. That's so exciting. So,
Yeah, the bottom line with that right there is I think there's a misconception, at least I hear it a lot, that you have to have this huge list to be
yeah,
successful. And I've seen just the opposite. Don't worry about the size of your list. It's all about how qualified and engaged they are. And the more qualified and engaged, the better conversions, the better success you're going to have on whatever that is on the back end.
totally. Okay. So when you're finding people to speak in your summit, do you look for a minimum list size? How do you find the right people to actually join?
So there's varying beliefs or strategies around this. For me, it always comes, my number one thought is always what does my audience want or need? Like I always start with what's the end goal? What's the end in mind? So that starts with where are you wanting to take this new audience that you're going to create? So I love that you actually asked this question because this is usually the first thing everybody asks,
Mhm.
but it's not the first thing we should be addressing. It's
Okay.
actually it's the most fun. So we're like, which speakers? Like, am I going to get Tony Robbins on my, summit? Like, who can I reach out to and talk to? That's the fun part. But to set up your summit for success, we actually start with where are you going to take this new audience? Do you have a course? Do you have a coaching program? Do you have a live event? Again, so whatever that next step is, we call this the post summit profit strategy. That's where we want to start because a lot of times summit hosts will create a summit around a topic or an idea and not have anywhere to take them. We say they don't think past the summit. They do a summit, they have people and they're like, yay, oh crap, now what? And then that list goes cold and they did all that work in time and energy for nothing. So think about what you have that you want to promote or drive traffic to. So whatever that is, what is one, two, or three of the top problems that your ideal audience has that is going to go in that problem or that solution solves, that program solves. So a lot of times it's easier to list out three or four of them, but if you know the top one, pick that top one. That's what you're going to build your summit around. Okay. Now, again, we talked about the solutions. The solutions then tell you who the speakers are. So for me, my primary goal is who's the best speaker. I look at it two ways. Who's the best person who's going to give the best information? And then the second one is there anybody out there that I'm really looking to build a relationship with? Because these are amazing opportunities to build a relationship. So and I'm gonna answer your question here in a second. I haven't forgot it. I'm just making sure we understand this because the summit is what we call like the beginning of your customer journey. Like if your customers are going to go on a journey with you and have all their problems solved and you're going to provide services and programs and things like that, the summit is the beginning of it. So all of these other things are going to be essentially what they'll need after that. So you have to start focusing on the beginning of this.
Mhm.
Now, to grow a company, though, okay, so that's the beginning of a company customer journey. But to grow a company, you really are going to need, especially at the beginning, if you're just getting started, you need partners, you need collaborations, you need people that are going to help support you. So again, in addition to building an audience, one of the top reasons to do a summit is to create a relationship with somebody that has synergy with you that'll help promote you later on. Quickest way to grow your business. So those are the two things I'm thinking about. Ideally, I would like somebody that has, again, I don't really care about how big their list is. I care that they have an engaged audience. Now you
Mhm.
can look, check out their social, check out, their Facebook, Instagram. They got people chatting on there. I do want industry experts or niche experts. I want somebody that has an expertise that's kind of like the best in their little category. They don't need to be world renowned. And with that being said, I think that's a misconception. A lot of times, summit hosts will initially try and go for the biggest name they can think of. And it's exciting, it's fun, it's cool. Grab one of those, but those people are never going to promote for you,
Yep.
more than likely.
Yep.
I like to find the people which are kind of what we call industry experts or industry authorities. So they may not be everybody may not know them, but in their little niche, they're the go-to because those guys and gals are still hustling hard. They're still working hard. They're still building their business, their name. Those people will go to bat for you. They will promote your summit, which will then help you build that audience. So less about a list minimum, more about, are they an expert? Do they have an engaged audience, whatever size that audience is? And is it somebody that I want to build a relationship with? And I will again make a point of, it's like you could be passing over the best person to be on your summit if you're just looking at list size.
Yep.
My first $136,000 launch came from a list size of 900 people that I got from a 1-day summit.
Wow.
So don't overlook those. They're not numbers, they're people. And if they're engaged and following you for the right reasons, those people will want to go further with you.
Huge. Okay. What's expected of those speakers? So they say, yep, I want to join your summit. What do you expect out of them?
So I am looking for people that want to be a part of, again, a collaborative marketing strategy. And it's only collaborative if we're all doing it together. So I'm not really looking for people that are like, oh, put me on your summit, give me some face time and introduce me to your audience, but I'm not going to do anything for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, I understand that asking somebody to promote or email their list, that's a big ask. You have to keep in mind, every one of those speakers has spent time, energy, and money to build that audience. So by asking them to send out an email, that's actually money. You're asking them to give you money. So I always like to keep that in mind so I don't ever take it for granted. But with that being said, I really look at building the relationship. And if I bring the right person on and I've done my job at building a relationship with them before we even get to the summit, then they're going to want to promote it because they're going to want to help me out, because now it's a collaborative, it's a synergy together. So I do ask them to share it. I do ask them to promote it both to their audience and on their social media platforms. Now, I'm not going to really say you have to do 5 emails, right? I'm going to say whatever you're comfortable with. Because honestly, some people, they could send out 1 email and it's the same amount, it's the same success as somebody who's sending out 10 emails. So we're open with that. Um, but I would like them to promote. Now, a strategy or a tip I'll give you, this kind of a ninja or a little bit of an advanced strategy. But if you really want to get that speaker to promote without you being like overly pushy about it, when they've agreed to be on the summit and you've kind of let them know you'd like them to promote it, you simply ask them when would be the best times, the days for you to promote the summit. Have them give you those days, because it's easy for me to avoid. Like if you say, Mark, I want you to email this on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And if I don't respond to you, it's easy for me to be like, well, I didn't say yes. Like I know I said I'd be on your summit, but I didn't agree to those days. But if you ask me, Mark, when would you like to promote this? And you're making it like so that it's around the best time for me. And I say, well, you know what? I can shoot out an email Tuesday and then maybe one on Friday. Now, I don't want to go against my word. I don't want to look bad, right? I've told you I could do it on these days. So simple follow up. Hey, Mark, I just want to make sure you had everything you need to send this out. I saw that you said you were going to send out on Tuesday. Do you need anything else? It's a really easy and ethical way to get your speakers to go ahead and help you with this collaborative marketing strategy. So it's a long way of saying, yes, we do want them to promote, but I'm not going to twist anybody's arm to do it.
Got it.
And if you're having to twist their arm, they probably weren't the right person to have on your summit to begin with.
True. So are you giving these people email templates, social media templates, graphics, all that stuff?
The more you can make your speakers look like champions, look like heroes, look like just feel great, the more likelihood they're going to promote it and promote it harder. So depending on my summits, like we always theme our summits, and some of them we put more time and energy in, some of them a little bit less. But what we're always providing our speakers with materials. So we'll either have some social shareables, like an image with their name or their face on it. We'll definitely prepare some swipe copy or email copy that they can use, because we want to make it as easy as possible. But if you can go over and above, like sometimes we will make specific video clips where we will take parts of their interview and we'll clip a piece out of it and we'll put it into a promotional clip, a promotional video, and we'll give that back to them. Because what do we all want in the end? Like we all want to look, like we all want to look and feel like we matter at a humanistic level. We all want to look and feel like we matter. So if you can give them these materials that make them look and feel good, they're going to want to share it, because you're actually thinking about like, what can I do for them that's going to make them look good? Because then they're just going to want to share it. So that's a little bit of an advanced thing there. But yes, you always want to make it as easy and simple as possible. I even go over and above. Like I literally send each of my speakers in a specific email to them, everything they need right there in an email, where some people, you can have like an affiliate dashboard where they have to log in and things like that. If you make it easy for your speakers, you're going to increase the chances of them promoting as well.
Got it. Can you talk about helping us pick out a really good topic for that summit? So you mentioned a little bit like reverse engineer it. How do we know that we're niched down enough with that topic and we're not going too broad?
Such a good question there, because that is the most common mistake summit hosts make.
Mm-hmm.
Is they do one thing, one of two things. They either don't get specific enough, which we'll talk about, or they find something that they think sounds sexy or interesting or a hot topic, like, oh, like whatever, this is a hot theme right now, so I'm going to do it around that. So first off, don't go for the hot theme or topic, because usually it's too generic and too general. The second thing is you're probably not niched down enough, even if you think you are. Try it a little bit more. The last aspect is you want to be, and this is going to sound like nails on a chalkboard for a lot of us, is you want to be more pain focused than positive focused when you're creating your topic, especially in the healthcare profession. Like over here, we're always about positive, right? We don't want to talk about the negative. The thing you have to understand is what is going on with your audience. Who are you trying to target? So you have to know your audience, your avatar, and you have to know their problem. So in today's age, we are being bombarded with information online, and we're getting really, really good at tuning it all out. I mean, the attention span has dropped down to less than 8 seconds for children right now, which is less than a goldfish, right? Like, I mean, it's
Crazy.
our attention span is gone,
Yeah.
which is why we're seeing one day summits becoming so successful, is because it's not a 5-day, 80-person event. It's you can get this solution to your problem in one day. So the point here is, though, you have to have that problem nailed down. I don't want a solution. I want a solution to my problem.
Mm.
Okay. Like there's a lot of solutions out there, and I'll get to those when I'm ready for them. But right now I'm searching for this one thing. So you need to think of, what is your avatar? What is your audience actively searching for the solution to right now? I'll give you an example in like the health space. Like if a healthcare professional was trying to get general consumers or patients, they're a thyroid expert, and they're going like, well, I'm going to do a summit around thyroid issues. Well, that may be the actual problem that her or his avatar has. Nobody's really searching for, how do I solve my thyroid problems?
Mhm.
They're searching for, how do I get rid of this migraine, or how do I fall asleep at night, or how do I not be bloated? Like they're looking for specific things, and they're tuning everything out. But if you can talk to that one specific problem, another example in like the entrepreneur space is, maybe you're going to go, I'm going to do a summit around helping business owners make more money. Every business owner needs to make more money, right? That makes perfect sense. The problem is the business owner is going, yeah, I do need to make more money. But actually, what I really need to do is I need to figure out how to increase my email deliverability, because that's where I'm losing my money. Or
Mm.
I know I need to figure out, mini chat or chat bots, because that's where I'm losing the opportunity to make money. They're looking for a specific problem that they have. So that is how you're going to decide what your theme or what your topic of your one day summit or your summit in general is going to be about. What is the problem that your audience is actively searching for the solution to?
So would like an email list building summit be niche enough, specific enough?
Way
No.
too generic. Way too
Okay.
generic. Yeah, I need to build my list. We all need to build our list. The problem is there's a million things out there talking about list building. It's not enough. Like, so one of my mentors, Ryan Dice, he talks about how he sees in the next year or even sooner, that if we as businesses don't start personalizing everything, personalizing our marketing, our solutions to our audiences, that we're going to start to see huge kind of shifts, huge disruptions in our spaces, and we may go away, because people can get, for example, they can get at a drop of a notice how to build a list. Like there's thousands and thousands out there, but I don't have the time to think about that. I'm thinking about one thing. So you have to make it specifically. What are they need? Where are they not building their list at? Is it Facebook marketing? Is it YouTube marketing? Is it not even social media marketing? Maybe it's direct response. Like you have to be really, really specific with what you're talking about if you're going to catch that person. Think about it. Think about the last thing you were looking for. You did a search, either you're on YouTube or you Googled it. You weren't looking, and there was solutions that popped up, but you went to the thing that was the most relative for the actual problem you were trying to solve. You didn't go for the most generic or general, you
Right.
went for the most relative. So you got to keep that in mind when you're thinking about any promotional aspects you're doing in your business.
Okay, that's super helpful. You talked about post-summit profits. Can you talk about how to monetize your summit and what it looks like, like on the thank you page, but also on the back end to make sure you're not missing out on huge opportunities?
So most people make the mistake of thinking the summit, and this, I'm just going to clarify this because this is a common mistake, is the summit is not the monetization strategy. Your summit is your relationship building strategy. And if
Hmm.
you focus too hard on trying to monetize your summit, you're going to actually break the relationships.
Yep.
The point is, if we, that is our opportunity to create know, like, and trust with a person who's going to be ready to go further on our customer journey with us, who we can then monetize by providing solutions to their problems tenfold over. Now, you will make money on your summit. So, with that being said, you do make money on your summit. I just want to make sure everybody's mind is in the right spot, because if you go towards a summit and think, my goal here is to build a relationship with this audience, you're going to have far more success after the summit. Now, if you go into it and go, I'm going to monetize the heck out of this summit, you probably will monetize it even more than what you would normally do. You just won't have much monetization on the back end. So,
Hmm.
the way we do make money off of the summit, because I should have clarified this at the beginning, most
Yeah.
summits, especially like the multi-day summits, they're free to attend. So that's even like, what? Like, you've got all these industry experts sharing solutions to a problem that I have, that normally it would cost me thousands and thousands of dollars either through one of their programs or tens of thousands of dollars to actually talk with them. And I'm going to get it for free over the course of this period of time. So that's why it's what we call a high value, low risk.
Hmm.
Webinars could be high value, but they're also high risk. I know if I hop on a webinar, you're going to try to sell me something.
Yeah.
The other thing with Summit, I just got to clarify this because it's so powerful. Unlike social media, like we're all hot right now on like Facebook and Instagram and everything else, but we've all also heard that those can be taken away from us. And we've seen a big example of that in the last year when the ads algorithm changed,
Yep.
right? So paid ads skyrocketed. We're all feeling that. The thing with the summit is it's your platform. You own it. Nobody can take it away from you. So you maintain it. You have the leads, the list, etc. So you get to maintain that. Nobody can take it away. So it's also like a way to almost, like, I don't want to say recession proof yourself, but a way to, it's security. So when it comes to the actual summit and the monetization strategy to it, it's free to attend, but it's only free to attend during this time period that we've made it available. If it's a one-day summit, maybe it's Thursday, right? Or if it's a multi-day summit, maybe it's Thursday through Sunday. So it's a free to attend. And if you maybe either got so much great value out of it and you want to go back to it after it's over, or maybe you missed a session that you wanted to see and it ended before you had a chance, you can then purchase typically what's called like an all access pass. And what that is it essentially unlocks access to those on-demand videos. So now you get to maintain access to that. Plus, we typically throw in a lot of cool bonuses in there as well. So it's a high value opportunity. And that's how you actually make money on the summit. But then the post summit profit strategy, how that actually works. Now, actually, let me back up one step because you asked about like the thank you page, sales page, things like that. So, like, just a quick ninja tip for you. This works on any promotion, but we definitely talk about it in summits. Is what we call the decoy effect. Okay, so there's actually summits have 13 different psychological triggers naturally built into them, which is why they're so powerful. I know I'm a nerd over here. I'm a
No,
doctor,
I'm
so
just like sitting
psychology,
here
like
like you are brilliant and I am so lucky I get to interview you. Like this is awesome. Keep going.
I nerd out on summits, and when the doctor comes out, psychology, I love psychology stuff, but there's actually 13 different psychological triggers just naturally built in. And there's almost, I don't know any other marketing like strategy out there that has all of these just naturally built into them. So it's why a summit is so powerful. But one of those is called the decoy effect. And again, you don't have to use this, but we always recommend it. It is a little bit more of an advanced strategy, but it's been scientifically proven to increase your profit with the same amount of customers. And I think we all like that. I could feel people perk up as soon as I said that. So what it actually is usually with the one day, like with a summit in general, the product or the promotion, there's usually like a lower value one which just gives you access, like ongoing access to the videos, to
How
the all
much would
access
that
pass.
be?
And a typical, like normal is usually 47 to 67. It
Got it.
obviously is going to depend on your niche. Are you in a professional niche or not a professional, etc. Easiest way to look at that is just do a little recon on somebody in a similar vertical or even in your niche, see what their pricing theirs at, and that'll give you a really good idea of where to start. So you're going to have a lower priced one. So that's very common. Like we've all seen the most common is you just give one offer. Okay. And those will work. Often we see like 2 or even 3. And okay, so I don't recommend 3 different prices like ever on this. And that may sound counterintuitive, but like it's we need to start minimizing everything, minimizing attention span. Like you got to overcome attention span. So you need to minimize content. You need to minimize how long the content is. You need to minimize like the decisions, because people have what's called decision fatigue too.
Yep.
Like if I just have to choose between 3 things now, I'm like, no, can't do it. Right. Like I just had to
It's
make
too
other,
hard.
it's too hard. I had to choose between pumpkin spice latte and just a vanilla latte, you know? So now I can't choose your 3 things. Right. So the thing is, instead of resisting it, like, cause I'm like, what? Like, how in the world is this possible? But instead of resisting it, understand it, accept it, and overcome it. So like when I first started, 3 price points were very normal, like small, medium, large, right? Like that was just common. But instead, now it's either one option, like one price, or most commonly they do 2 prices, a low and a high. Okay, that's common. Now the ninja technique, and you're going to go, Mark, you just said no, not do this. It's 3 prices or 3 options. Okay, the difference is it's not 3 different prices. You have your low price, and then you have 2. So you have that one. That's your low price. Then you have 2 other options. They're both the exact same price. So let's say if this one's 47, both of these 2 other options are 97. The difference is they'll be the exact same, except one of them, usually the one positioned in the middle, is going to have one extra really cool bonus in it. So like what? Like, okay, 67 and then 97, 97. Like what is that? They've actually done research and shown that it doesn't increase the amount of people who buy. So if you had 100 people buy, you're not going to get 120 people to buy. But what normally happens is if you have 2 offers, majority, a higher percentage buys the lower offer, the 67 offer. But when we use a decoy effect, it actually increases the percentage from 60 to 70% buying the lower offer to 60 or 70% buying the higher offer. So you actually increase the overall amount of revenue just by using this little strategy. So I know it's kind of geeky, nerdy, but like if if you've got
So crazy.
thousands and thousands of dollars, you can increase that by like 20 to 30%. You've just, that's a lot of pumpkin spice lattes over there. So
Does anyone buy the one that's the higher price point that doesn't include the bonus?
no, of course
No.
not. But it's really not about getting them to buy that. What it is a psychological trigger. Is we go, well, I wasn't even considering. I like usually when we buy, we just go, what's easy? Okay, I'm gonna go low, boom. But then you look at this and it makes you stop and think about it. But now that you're focused on it and you're thinking about it, psychologically, you start to justify and rationalize why that's actual better idea, a better way. The
Right.
thing is, most people don't take the time to stop and even look at it. They're just like 97, 60. They're buying based on price, right? Now, there are people, of course, that are buying the higher option. Those are the ones who are already interested and they were, taking the time. But most of the people that are buying the lower price are buying it just based off price. So if you can stop and get them to start to rationalize what's in this other offer, then you increase the percentage that goes up that buys the higher offer.
So smart. Does it matter placement of these? Does it matter where the decoy one is?
Ideally, the decoy's in the middle and you have it pop a little bit. So it's a little bit bigger or
The
stands
decoy is the
out,
one that has the extra bonus.
meaning
Yeah.
the extra bonus in it. Yeah. I
Got
mean,
it.
I guess technically the decoy would be the one without the bonus in it, but the one that has the extra bonus, put it in the middle. So because we want them focused on it, right?
Right.
So also from positioning, the ones that are on the outside are going to gain less eye line, like less eye attention.
Right.
Again, people are picking on price, so they just gravitate to what's the lowest price. But if we can pull them back into the center where it's where we want them to be, then you're going to have a better option with that.
Okay, so that's how you monetize the summit part of getting people to actually buy the all access pass. What do you do on the back end after the summit's over?
Now, this is going to be, depends on, there's lots of different strategies. And again, anything really can work if you know how to do it well. Like we have a strategy we use because it's just been simplified over for us. And again, we call this the post-summit profit strategy and or the customer journey. It's the same thing. So essentially, being the nerd over here, loving psychology, what I normally see happen. I got to clarify this. When I'm looking at post-summit profit strategy, we run our summits like forever. So we use the software, as I mentioned, the virtual summit software. It has a feature in it, which essentially revolutionized the game for summits, is with one click of a button, it lets you rerun your summit as if it's live ongoing forever. It's called
Huh.
the Ever Summit feature. So it's Forever Summit. So now instead of a one-off summit that you may spend months preparing, now this summit stays live ongoing forever. So you can continue to drive natural traffic, even like SEO traffic, organic traffic to it. So it continues to be the beginning of your customer journey. So what we normally see, the mistake I normally see kind of entrepreneurs doing, and it's okay if you got a lot of attention, like the one time you're running a one live event, whether it's a launch or a summit or whatever, you want to drive as much people to your higher priced offer. However, after that's over and you don't have all this attention and exposure and awareness, what ends up happening is and the mistake most people make is they still try and sell the high price thing. The problem is because you don't have all the social proof happening that happens during like a live launch or a live summit, is they look at this and it's essentially, it breaks buyer mentality or normal human psychology. It's essentially like going, hey, I gave you this thing for free to get to know me, and now I want you to buy this really higher price thing. It's like going on a date with somebody and then the next day going, will you marry me? Like, we're
Right.
not going to do that, right? It's human psychology to be like, okay, your marketing and promotional strategies need to just be like relationship strategies. You're like, first date, is this person likable? Second date, are they going to murder me in my sleep? Right. Third date, now we'll start to consider like what happens after that. Right. So you need to think about your marketing kind of like that too. So with the post-summit profit strategy, we go from the summit, which is what we call magnetize. That's how we bring in this audience, create from a cold or unknown audience, know, like, and trust. Now we want to move over to the monetize. This is where we start to monetize that audience with like a medium price point offer. Usually it's about 100 to 150% higher than whatever you were charging for the high point on your summit. So just a little bit higher, but that's going to be like a single step-by-step solution. So if your one-day summit or your multi-day summit is like a bunch of different people talking about the solution, which is cool. It motivates me, inspires me that I can solve the problem. But now I just want you, to tell me, what do I need to do step by step? So that's the next solution, is we sell them a single step-by-step solution to one problem. So after that, that's the monetize. After that, we go to the maximize, which is the transformation. This is the higher offer, higher ticket offer. And this is where we're solving all the problems. We're giving all the solutions to whatever that transformation is. If it's weight loss, it goes from, you're overweight to skinny. If it's business, you go from broke to having money. If it's a certification, you're not certified to certified. So whatever that transformation is, and that's also part of what psychologically makes us want to do it. We don't ever keep this in mind, because a lot of times we all in the business will make the mistake of trying to talk about what's in the programs because we built them, right? We love them. And we know that you need that to get the solution or the transformation, but your audience does not care. They do not want that. They only want the solution. And if the information or knowledge seems too difficult to get the solution, they just stop paying attention. Again, don't resist it, just know it and overcome it. So back to the transformation. So this is all the solutions. It's giving them that transformational, and this is why we can charge more for it. So this could be a mastermind. It could be one-on-one coaching, group coaching, a certification, online program, a live event, whatever. It's just going to be a higher price point offer. And then after that is the last step, which is multiply. And this is reoccurring revenue. This is your membership. Okay. And this is, if you don't have, and let me say this to you, because I learned the hard way. I nearly lost a multi-million-dollar company almost overnight because I didn't have reoccurring revenue. I made a ton of money, but I didn't have reoccurring revenue in it. If you don't have reoccurring revenue, you're one bad month away from going out of business. Let that sink in. So you need to have a membership aspect. So the multiply now is going to be a lower price point, but now that you've given them all the solutions, they know, like, and trust you. They more than know, like, and trust you. They love you. They don't want to have to go out and build that relationship with anybody else. Building relationships is scary and challenging and difficult. So now that I know you, I just want to keep coming back to you for the solutions. The good news is you don't have to have the answers. You're just the place they come to get the answers. So ideally with this, you will identify 12 other points that are probably outside of your expertise. So like if I'm the summit guy, I may have 1 month on Facebook marketing. I may have 1 month on copywriting. I may have 1 month on, live events. None of those are my expertise. But the people who are coming to me are going to want to know how to do those. My tribe will want to know how to do those. So you identify 12 other topics. Those become monthly themes, and then you bring experts in to teach on that themes. So you now continue to build strategic partnerships with people. You also don't have to do the work because they come in and teach it and then they sell, and you also generate affiliate commissions on top of reoccurring revenue. So that's what we use as a post summit profit strategy. Again, I always say I'm not the smartest dude in the room and I'm not the expert here. These are just what works for me. Take it, modify it, make it better, and then let me know how you modified it.
Okay, let me make sure I got this. So we got the summit, we sell the all access pass, $47.97. Then we could sell like an online course for $297. Then a higher ticket, maybe like private or group coaching program for 10K, 20K, something like that. And then an ongoing mastermind or reoccurring revenue for anywhere from 97 to 97 a month or more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aha. Okay. This is like golden. I hope you're taking notes. So good. Okay. How far in advance do you need to plan out your summit?
You can, once you know how to do summits, and for example, if you're using the virtual summit software, it literally minimizes the
Can you just
process.
talk to us about the virtual summit software?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that first summit I told you about that I did 5,000 leads, $32,000. Like it's like my little baby. I'm so proud of it. But it took me about 100 hours to build it. Like I hand built it. Now they teach you a lot of stuff in med school, but they don't teach you that. They don't teach you how to do online business or how to build WordPress, right? So I had 7 different pieces of software, 26 plugins, all Frankenstein together, and it still looked like a third grader built it. But they were powerful, so I couldn't stop doing them. So we kept doing them as we generated more revenue and income. I actually had a team of 4 people full time that were just working on our summits, because still, even today, we run 2 to 4 multi-day summits, 4 to 8 one-day summits in all of my companies. So like, I'm not just telling you an idea, something I did 7 years ago and trying to make money off of it. I'm like, I believe in summits when it comes to getting your message out to the world. So with the software, it essentially took what was 100 hours, and now you can do it within a matter of a few hours with 0 tech skills, 0 coding skills. And it's like having 2 full-time assistants working for you, because we have a speaker management feature built into it where it follows up automatically with your speakers to collect the information from them. It runs the entire summit. So like when your summit actually goes live, you don't have to worry about running the summit. You just worry about promoting it, engaging with your audience. It's 100% customizable, or we have themes and templates where you can literally just drag and drop. So it's essentially like the best thing since sliced bread if you're in the summit world.
So if you don't have the virtual summit software, which by the way, where can people access that?
Yeah, you can go to virtualsummits.com.
Okay. So if you don't have that software, what are the different applications and plugins and stuff that you would need to use?
Yeah. So, and again, there's also consultants out there that you can pay. Like we have a done for you service, but
Cool.
most consultants start like anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000. So those are like higher priced options. If you're going to build it yourself, you can Frankenstein it together. Like I've seen people use Thinkific, and I love Thinkific. Greg Smith over there, the founder, is a good buddy of mine. So people have used Thinkific, or you're going to take WordPress and you're going to use something like Thrivecart. And honestly, I haven't run one like that in probably 2 or 3 years since we've had the software. So I don't even know what all the other plugins are and the things that still go into it. But I do know that it's going to take, 20, 30, 40 hours, or you're going to pay somebody, $5,000 to $10,000 to build it out. And the Summit software is not expensive. We're talking $97 a month. So it's not like a high price point here. So I'd say if you're going to do a summit, you might as well take the tech off your plate and just use a software that's done for you like that. Because the other thing is, the one thing when we ran all of our summits, and the thing that we hear all the summit hosts talking about when they do them themselves, is there's always something that breaks. If you're doing something like on your own, if you're trying to patch things together, there's a link that breaks in the middle of it, and all of a sudden you got like 400 emails saying your link didn't work, or something falls off or whatever. So it's always better to just go with a kind of a trustable, reliable solution. But as far as time frame, so like if you're using the Summit software like that's the time frame I'm going to use. If you're not using the Summit software, you should add like probably a month or 2 onto it. Like or have somebody pay somebody to do it for you. But no less, if you're doing a multi-day summit, than 90 days. Okay. Like this is another kind of common theme I'm seeing that's not great, is people are trying to rush their summit. Like they get the idea and they're like, I'm going to do my summit in like 60 days or 30 days. And you can get them done, but you can't get them done well.
Yeah.
And so you end up putting out a low low value, low product. Like it's just like it's like a boring, crappy summit, and it reflects on you. So if you're going to do it, take the time and energy to make it nice. Now, I'm not saying you're putting 40 hours a week. We're talking like maybe 10 hours maximum, doing some interviews or whatever, but just give yourself time to think through the process and to plan it out. So it's a good theme. Like that's the most important. What is your theme, your niche? Is it narrowed down? And to make sure you get the right speakers on it instead of just rushing and taking anybody and having a generic theme, take some time to think it through. If you're doing a 1 day summit, that's way different. Like 1 day summits are super quick and easy, right? Like I'd still say the first time you do it, like spend 60 days, okay? Like to do a 1 day summit. But after you do one of them, first off, you're going to see how powerful it is. Everything becomes a 1 day summit. Like you have your audience ask this one question, you're like, I could do a 1 day summit about that. You find like a tech or a challenge in your business, you're like, I could do a 1 day summit about that. After you've done that, like you could probably, I mean, we do 1 day summits in a matter of a week or two,
Wow.
but we've been doing them for a while. So,
For a while. Yeah. Cool. What's the best book you've read?
well, there's two of my favorite. One's business, one's not. My favorite one, because it changed the game for me in the business, is Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Hmm.
Okay, so that book's great for 1,000 different reasons, and every time I read it, I get something different from it. But the thing that changed the game for me is in there. He talks about the hedgehog concept. I call it your unique expert position. So, what can you be the best in the world at? What can you make money doing? And what are you passionate about? Where those three things collide, those three circles collide, that's your UEP, your unique expert position. The other book, non-business related, that's my favorite, is Untethered Soul. So it helps you get in touch with your mind. And once you get to a certain point in business, you realize the only way to get higher in business or further is if you can actually master your own mind.
So true. So true. What does it mean to you to make an impact?
For me, to make an impact is to help somebody other than myself get value, whatever value means to them. Ultimately, impact for me is generosity. Like generosity is one of my core values. I like to be generous. And so whether that's giving time to somebody, making a connection for somebody, or helping somebody else solve a problem, or just being there for somebody, to me, that's making an impact.
Well, you did that today. You provided so much knowledge. Oh my goodness, my mind is just blown. Where can we connect with you?
Absolutely. So I hang out. You can, if you're looking for the software, it's Virtual Summit software. Again, you can get that at virtualsummits.com. My personal brand is Hustle and Scale. So I hang out at Instagram. If you just want to follow my adventures, I'm all over the world. It's not my business site or anything like that, but Hustle and Scale, either on Facebook or Instagram.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge with us. We really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. Thank you. And I'll leave you with this.
Yeah.
Just know your message absolutely matters. There are people out there that need to hear your message. There's an impact that you need to make in the world. You just need a little bit of help getting it out there. So don't give up no matter where you're at on that dream or that mission, because you are so close to achieving it.
Boom.